Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this short video on using cosine versus using sine. Now, I'm going to go through one example of each type you're expected to find. Essentially, sine rule can get you a side or an angle. Cosine rule can get you a side or an angle. The trick is trying to remember which one to use and when. Alright, so first up, we're finding a side. So you should remember that you have two forms of the sine rule, two forms of the cosine rule. We're thinking about using sides. Now, basically, my advice is try to set up the sine rule by using two pairs. A pair is one of these, when you have an angle opposite a side. Even if the side is the one you're trying to find, we'll call that a pair. The issue is there's no other pair. 12 doesn't have a pair, and 9 doesn't have a paired angle. So here, we don't have those opposite pairs, therefore we can't use sine rule. Sine rules failed us, use cosine. So if we're using cosine, we set up A, B, C, A, B, C, and then continue with the formula. So the formula for the side is A squared equals B squared plus C squared, take 2BC cos A. And what you should notice is that for every value here, every letter here, we have a value in the triangle. So A, we have X. For B, we have B, no worries. For C, we've got C. And then finally, for A, or for the angle A, we have the angle A. So we should be able to substitute every value in, and then the last step, remember, you'll get A squared equals a number, and you've got to remember to square root. So you've got to square root whatever number comes in there. But the important thing is, I'm not showing you how to do the calculations now. That's done in previous videos, but just when to use which. Alright, so here, when to use which one, we're finding a side. And we're looking for pairs. That's a pair, and that's a pair. So, happy days. A couple of pairs, so we're using sine rule. Now, label our sides, and then we'll decide which form of the sine rule to use. A, B, C, A, B, C. Apologies, my pen's half broken. It's frustrating. Alright, so we've got the C pair and the B pair. That means we're using this form of the equation. C on sine C equals B on sine B. Capital B. Alright, the reason we're using B and C and not the A is because the A, we don't have a pair for it. And then we substitute in the values we need. Y over sine 42 equals 13 over sine 52. Make sure that the angle goes with the sine. And then the last step here, you're going to multiply by sine 42 to get y by itself. Alright, two more examples. Here, sine or cosine? Well, let's try and set up the pairs. We have a pair here and a pair here. Fantastic. We have pairs, so we're using a version of the sine rule. And because we're hunting an angle, we're going to use the version of the sine rule with the sine values on top. So we'll have A, B, C, A, B, C, and we have the A pair and the B pair. So the version of the sine rule we're going to use is sine A on A equals sine B on B. And now substitute in. Sine and A's are unknown, so X on 11.3 equals sine 36 on 9.2. And remember, you're going to multiply the 11.3 up and then do inverse sine or shift sine to get that value of X by itself. Alright, next one. Look to set up some pairs. We have one pair, but there's no pair for the 11.2 and no pair for the 15.2. So we can't do the pairs, therefore we must use cosine rule. We're finding an angle. So we're finding an angle. Let's label our sides. A, B, C, A, B, C. We're finding angle A, so cos A equals b squared plus c squared take a squared over 2bc. And we're going to substitute all those values in. And the last step, remember, is take inverse cos. So a couple of patterns you should remember there is, at some point here, there will be a sine to the negative 1. At some point here, there'll be a cos to the negative 1. If you're finding angles, you need to have this step in at the end. If you're finding sides, well, one with cosine rules of square root. Here is just a straight multiply. Okay, hopefully those 4 examples helped a little bit. If you can do those 4 types of calculations and then sine area rule, you are well set for the interim. Thank you very much.